Yes, sir. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy D Nolly, aka Don Squally, and we are back at it with another Forza Horizon 4 build video, man. So in my last video, you guys will have known that I'm kind of gearing away from the YouTuber requests and just trying to get some of those oddball builds out there that are not requested all the time. Because I'm just getting the feeling that we're just repeating a lot of the same cars just with different skins and mods. But for today's video, man, if you guys saw the title, you already know what's up. I'm going to run through the small list of names real quick. Actually, I thought there was more people requesting this one, but it looks like Braden Jones is the only person who wants to see that Hyundai Veloster end build, man. Now, to be honest, I just found out about this car on the Straight Pipes. Watched their review video, which actually came out a couple of months ago, and I gotta say, this car really does sound pretty good. And although I'm not a huge fan of Hyundai or Kia per se, I really have to say they are definitely coming out with some very cool cars. The Stinger being one of them, obviously the Veloster, and they're trying to target that market that's a little bit younger. So for today's video, what we're going to do is buy up this 2000, I believe this is going to be a 19 or 18. I'm going to start out with that baby blue with the red accents, since this seems to be what most of the press cars are being driven as with this color. This seems to be their little signature. And now that we have the car, what I think we're going to do is jump into the upgrades and tuning. Now, in my last video, I said, if you guys want to see more streetable builds or you just want to see all-out, maxed-out builds, and a lot of you guys said you wanted to see some maxed-out builds. So what I think I'm going to do is probably keep the engine stock here. Quite a bit of power, 205 kilowatts. I'm going to guess around 300 horsepower on this thing. But one thing that I do want to do is keep the drivetrain and the engine both stock, meaning front wheel drive, and we are going to keep the stock Hyundai motor in here. Looks like we got some nice little aero. We're going to go ahead and install that. Now this wing, a little bit bigger than I would like, but to be honest, the stock wing is actually a very nice look. I think it suits this car perfectly. Wheels and tires, since we are going to be doing a maxed out build, I am going to go ahead and put on a race tire compound on here. Also widen up the tires both front and back for maximum traction. Now I probably should have driven this car stock to see how fast it was and what to really expect, but I think we're just going to dial this thing as best we can just for maximum horsepower, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to skim through a couple of wheel options here, let you guys know when I find something that I think suits this car. And what I think I'm going to do is go with these ADV ones, a whole bunch of mishmash and numbers up there. But one thing I do like is you can see the red calipers, and this wheel actually has a red inner dish on it, which I kind of like. It's a nice touch, so I think that's going to be perfect for our build today. I'm going to keep the 19s on there because I think they did a nice job with the tire to wheel well ratio on this car. We are going to upgrade the clutch, the transmission, driveline, as well as the differential. Like I say, most of this build is going to be maxed out, and we're going to start that from here on out pretty much. Brakes, suspension, obviously this isn't going to be a drift car, but we certainly don't want rally springs and dampers, so I think drift suspension is going to be what we go on. Like, what I'm gathering from that right there is that we can't select race suspensions because this thing already comes with race suspension. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say this thing has some sort of adjustable coilover setup on it. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments section. But that's what I am gathering just from that, fact right there. Obviously, the engine, what we're going to do is upgrade the intake, pretty much everything on this car. Obviously, you guys know this thing comes stock with a turbo, so I'm just looking to max out the power so we can get a nice high number here. Now, with it being a small displacement engine, I'm not really expecting us to get a whole lot of power, but we are, however, going to check it out. 408 kilowatts, which equates to right around 540 horsepower. Really not the big number that I was hoping for, but I think it should be good for this car. I mean, it's a pretty small, light car, and with an aggressive amount of power, the lightweight, I think this might be a good mix of both here. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and adjust our suspension since it is a drift setup that we have on here. I'm just going to flatten out, the camber on this right here. Anti-roll bars are looking good, and as far as our ride height, I'm kind of liking where we're sitting there. Differential and all that good stuff, we're going to wait until we get out on the road to update those things. And then, obviously, we need to put a nice design on here. So what I think I might do is, if I can find it, design some paints. There it is. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and do something nice and simple on this thing. Since it is a new car, I think we're going to try to check out some of the... Oh, yeah, man, that front lip is... I'm not going to lie, that's absolutely a little bit ridiculous there. But as you guys can see, some nice options here. Now, if we do go with a full color, we do lose the red accents, which kind of sucks in my opinion, but there are a couple of half-decent colors here. Maybe we'll go ahead and do some sort of a color shift here. Now, it looks like our base color is going to need to be a little bit of a lighter color here, I'm thinking. Man, I gotta say, this is bringing me back to my Need for Speed days with all of this color shift. But to be honest, I'm not really digging that. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm kind of hoping to go for a little bit of a sleeper look here. So I am gonna leave this stock baby blue paint on here. Leave the wheels black and everything like that. And with keeping it the sleeper look here, the more and more that I look at that front splitter, I think it's got to go. It's just a little bit too big for this car. And like I say, I do kind of want to keep it with the, the sleeper look. And I think that's just, oh, hold on. How'd it go? Right, there we go. I think that's just looking a little bit cleaner for this car. But now that we got all of that out of the way, let's take this thing out on the road and see what a 550 horsepower Hyundai Veloster N can do. Now, unfortunately, it is nighttime, so we're not going to get the option to see that nice baby blue paint. However, we're just going to take it for a rip and see maybe if what time of day it is changes here. Now, as you would expect from a front-wheel drive vehicle with this much horsepower, an awful lot of wheel spin. Now, the way this thing is revving reminds me of like a Honda K20 or something like that with a turbo. Just very high up in the RPMs. And I'm not going to lie, once you get going and there's quite a bit of traction, it really goes quite nicely. Listen to that car. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when I say that I am not a Hyundai fan, with them putting out vehicles like this, I think it's safe to say that your boy Don Squally here might have a little soft spot for this. Look at those brakes just cooking. Let's do a little launch here, shall we? Lots of traction issues, obviously, in first gear. But once we get up there, whoa, quickly hitting that RPM, that red line. And then we are pretty well gone. Handling's not too bad. I think what I may do is go put on the stock suspension and see how much adjustability I can get with that. Because one thing that I have noticed about the drift suspension is it's set up so that the back end scoots out quite a bit when you get turning. And for a front wheel drive car, as you can see, once we turn just a little bit, that back end just wants to cook out. Great for drifting. Not so great when you're trying to put the power down. I mean, uphill, my mistake looking at the RPM gauge there. Uphill, still a whole lot of power. Brakes could use a little bit of work. I don't even think Hyundai was anticipating this much power in one of these cars, but let's do another little roll. Right up to red line real quick. Now, what I'm thinking this car is going to be competing with is going to be the Ford Focus ST, probably the the Honda Type R, maybe the RS, but with it being front-wheel drive, I don't really think it's going to have much of a chance, mind you. I think the Honda Type R, yeah, the Honda Type R might be a good competition for this vehicle. But with it being turbo, obviously there is quite a bit of modifications that you can do to these cars. And it's going to be interesting to see what these cars can do at the drag strip. Would be really cool to see it running some quarter miles. What I think I'm going to do is run up a race real quick here just to get it back to daylight. We can get our little screenshot happening. Just a ridiculous amount of angle on that front end, man. That's hilarious. Another reason why I may opt to put the stock suspension back on this car. What I'm going to do is just let the competition roll ahead here just a little bit. We're going to find ourselves a nice spot to take our screenshot. Now, if you guys want to see me actually do some races as opposed to just builds, let me know down in the comment section, because to be honest, that's one of my favorite aspects of Forza is the racing, especially Horizon 4. There's, you know, just a lot of street racing involved, and if you guys are subscribed to my other channel, you guys may know that that's an occasional thing that we do on the channel. But what I'm thinking is we might pull off right here, get the crowd in the background, take ourselves a little selfie for our screenshot here, and put an end to this video. But as always, if you guys did enjoy this one, don't forget to smash that like button. If you guys want to see more and you are not subscribed yet, definitely do so. Like I say, oddball requests. Kind of want to steer away from the YouTuber builds. I'm starting to just see that, you know, the views are not what they used to be with the YouTuber builds. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys want to see down in the comment section. And with that being said, I think we are going to put an end to this one. So as always, I am your boy Denali, aka Don Squally, and we gonna catch y'all mofos at the next one, man. Peace. Recovery of a lifetime. Oh fuck! Oh no! Oh! Fuck! Yeah, keep on rolling there. Yeah. Don't worry about the race or anything.